mystery interstellar object that was spotted by astronomers last week. It could be the oldest comet ever seen. It's only the third time that we've actually...
Scientists are on edge right now because something is moving through our solar system that breaks almost every rule of physics we thought we understood. This strange object, nicknamed 3I Atlas, is firing bizarre beams of light toward the sun, shifting colors like a cosmic mood ring, and following a flight path so perfect it feels deliberately planned. Some Harvard astronomers are quietly hinting at a shocking possibility. This might be artificial technology built by another civilization, and that leads to a chilling question. If 3I Atlas can pinpoint Mars with laser-sharp accuracy, what happens if it turns its attention toward Earth next? Because right now, something is drifting through our solar system that has astronomers everywhere completely confused. They're calling it 3-2 Atlas, and nothing about it matches the basic physics that govern normal space objects. For weeks, scientists monitored it like any other deep space rock, expecting it to behave predictably, just another frozen traveler from the far edges of the galaxy. Instead, it has shattered every expectation, moving with intention, precision, and patterns no natural object should be capable of. But instead of behaving like any normal space object, 3I Atlas completely flipped the script in ways that should be scientifically impossible. It began pulling off moves so strange that seasoned astronomers were left staring at their instruments, wondering if their gear had suddenly malfunctioned. Its brightness would surge from nearly invisible to easily detectable in a single night, then fade again just as quickly, without any logical explanation. These weren't the slow, gradual changes we expect from comets. These were sudden, dramatic shifts, happening so fast they made experts rethink everything they believed about how objects behave in space. What makes this even creepier is that 3I Atlas seems to emit light directly from its surface instead of producing the usual glowing cloud of gas and dust that surrounds most comets. That's like discovering a snowball that somehow powers its own built-in lighting system. And when respected astronomers, people with decades of experience, start quietly suggesting this thing might not be acting through natural processes at all. You know, something truly extraordinary is drifting through our corner of the cosmos, the rebel of the solar system. Every space object that wanders into our solar system normally behaves in predictable, textbook ways. They heat up as they approach the sun, grow long tails that point away from solar radiation, and their brightness follows smooth, well-understood mathematical patterns. Scientists can usually map their behavior months, sometimes years, in advance. But 3I Atlas, it looked at all those rules and decided to become the cosmic troublemaker, refusing to behave like anything we've ever studied. Its first major act of rebellion was a sudden color change, a dramatic shift from red to green as it drifted toward Mars. This happened far too quickly and at completely the wrong distance from the sun. Under normal circumstances, color changes in comets happen slowly and predictably, driven by chemical processes as different materials heat up and evaporate. These transitions usually take place over long periods and match clear temperature and radiation changes. 3I Atlas, apparently unaware that comets are supposed to follow the rules, pulled off this transformation in a time frame that matches no known natural process. Then came the brightness changes, wild, explosive spikes as it moved through the asteroid belt. These jumps didn't line up with any expected heating patterns or chemical reactions for an object at that distance from the sun. Most comets brighten along a smooth curve, allowing scientists to forecast their appearance with impressive accuracy. But 3I Atlas seems to be following its own internal plan, totally disconnected from sunlight, temperature, or gravity. Its brightness surges happen at random, creating a light curve that looks more like a chaotic stock market chart than anything resembling a natural celestial object. And then there's the most shocking part, the impossible light show. This feature alone breaks everything we understand about comet behavior. It defies 4 billion years of known solar system physics and challenges the very rules that define how comets are supposed to work. Something about this object is operating far outside the boundaries of known science, and that's why astronomers can't stop watching it. 3I Atlas is doing something that should be flat-out impossible. It's firing what looks like a focused beam of light directly toward the sun. That's the astronomical equivalent of finding water that flows uphill or fire that freezes instead of burns. Every comet ever recorded behaves in one simple, predictable way. Its tail always points away from the sun. Solar wind pushes dust and gas outward. This is Basic Astronomy 101. Even beginners learn this in their first semester, but 3I Atlas completely ignores this rule. Instead of forming a tail that points away from the sun, it's producing a forward-facing beam, something researchers have never seen, not once, in the entire history of space exploration. Hubble images show this bizarre structure extending 10 times farther toward the sun than any other direction. It looks like a cosmic spotlight shining into the sun, something no natural comet should be capable of. And this isn't a tiny anomaly that requires supercomputers to detect. It's huge, obvious, and blatantly contradicts the fundamental physics that govern comets. Scientists have scrambled to explain it using normal physics. One idea is that massive chunks of solid material are breaking off the sun-facing side of 3I Atlas, somehow resisting solar wind and floating in front of the object while reflecting sunlight. But for this to work, 3I Atlas would have to be built from unusually strong, dense material, nothing like the fragile, dirty snowballs comets are known to be. Even more unsettling, this beam isn't diffuse or scattered. It's tight, focused, and stable, something you'd expect from a controlled mechanism, not a random space rock. Natural light in space spreads out. It doesn't maintain a perfect beam over enormous distances. The precision of this forward-pointing structure suggests some kind of organizing force maintaining its shape. Chemistry gone wrong. The chemical makeup of 3I Atlas is equally bizarre, like someone mixed elements together in a cosmic lab without reading a chemistry book. Spectroscopic readings show 87% carbon dioxide, 9% carbon monoxide, 4% water. This is the chemical equivalent of discovering a fish, made mostly of feathers and concrete. It simply shouldn't exist. Comets are supposed to be dominated by water ice, mixed with dust and rock. That's why scientists call them dirty snowballs. But 3I Atlas is basically a giant frozen cloud of carbon dioxide with almost no water at all. That's like finding an iceberg made of sand and metal instead of ice. The James Webb Space Telescope confirmed this bizarre composition and revealed traces of even more exotic materials that don't belong together. Most shocking is the high amount of nickel without any trace of iron. In nature, nickel and iron appear together almost everywhere. They form under the same conditions, behave similarly, and are practically inseparable. Finding nickel without iron is like finding identical twins living on opposite sides of the universe. This tells scientists one of two things. 3I Atlas formed in an environment completely unlike anything we've ever observed anywhere. Or its materials were artificially assembled, manufactured, not naturally produced. The unusually high concentration of carbon monoxide adds yet another layer of weirdness. While CO does occur naturally, finding it in such extreme amounts alongside CO2 and isolated nickel breaks every known pattern of cosmic chemistry. Together, these clues form a chemical signature that does not match any known natural object studied in our solar system or beyond. The Harvard Connection section continues after this point. When Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb starts suggesting, publicly, that a mysterious space object might actually be artificial technology instead of something naturally formed, the entire scientific world immediately pays attention, whether they like his conclusions or not. Loeb has spent decades building a reputation for asking the tough, uncomfortable questions most researchers avoid in polite academic circles, and his deep analysis of 3I Atlas raises possibilities that sound like science fiction, but are backed by real data and serious scientific credibility. Loeb's main hypothesis is bold. 3I Atlas might function as a technological mothership, designed to release smaller reconnaissance probes as it passes through our solar system, possibly on an intelligence-gathering mission. According to his reading of the observations, those sudden spikes in brightness could be the moment when this larger craft breaks apart intentionally to deploy smaller probes toward Mars, similar to how human spacecraft release satellites or landers during complex missions. The timing of these bursts is suspiciously precise. They occur exactly as the object draws closer to Mars, not at random intervals as you'd expect from natural chemical outgassing. The coordination is too exact, too deliberate, to be a coincidence or a chaotic natural process. Loeb's spacecraft theory neatly ties together every strange behavior 3I Atlas has shown. The forward-facing light beam could be some kind of advanced propulsion system, or even a communication transmitter sending data back to its origin. The bizarre chemical makeup may point to artificial construction using materials not found in any known natural environment. The precision of its movements strongly resembles guided navigation rather than random drifting. Loeb's interest grew even more when astronomers spotted another object, C/2025 R2 de Swan, coming from nearly the same direction. Early calculations suggested it could be a fragment or probe released by 3I Atlas during its pass near Mars, offering potential evidence for Loeb's mothership theory. Navigating like a pro, the path 3I Atlas is following through the solar system is so precise that it's forcing veteran astronomers to consider whether they're watching advanced navigation, not natural motion. It's moving almost perfectly along the flat orbital plane where all the planets travel. Achieving that alignment by accident would be like threading a needle while blindfolded from millions of miles away. The odds are so astronomically tiny that no one can explain it with known physics. Most interstellar objects enter the solar system at wild angles, after drifting for eons under random gravitational pushes. But not this one. Its approach seems intentional. Even more suspicious, 3I Atlas appears to make strategic decisions during planetary encounters. It passes close enough to Mars for detailed observations and possibly sampling, yet keeps a safe, calculated distance from Earth. It avoids any approach that might trigger planetary defenses or heavy scientific scrutiny. This selective flyby strategy feels less like random chance and more like mission planning. The precision goes even further. At its closest point to the Sun, its perihelion, 3I Atlas will be positioned directly behind the Sun from Earth's viewpoint. During that moment, the Sun's intense radiation will completely hide it from even our best telescopes and space observatories. In other words, the object becomes undetectable at the exact time it reaches maximum solar energy, another detail that looks suspiciously like deliberate timing. Mars gets the best seat. October 3rd, 2025 may end up being the single most important date in the entire 3I Atlas investigation, and possibly one of the most significant observational opportunities in the history of studying interstellar visitors. On that specific date, this mysterious visitor will pass closer to Mars than at any other moment, giving scientists what may be their only real chance to finally figure out what this thing truly is, and whether it's natural or something far more advanced. NASA's Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter is already being repositioned and reprogrammed to capture these once-in-history images using its powerful high-rise camera. This instrument can detect surface features down to about 30 kilometers per pixel. That's not enough to show fine details or small structures, but it is more than enough to reveal critical information about 3I Atlas, its shape, how it's built, and how it produces its strange light. Most importantly, these images might finally answer the biggest question of all. Is this object glowing from internal processes we've never seen before, or is it reflecting sunlight in some totally unknown way? That one observation alone could determine whether we're looking at a bizarre natural phenomenon or something that requires an entirely new scientific framework, possibly even artificial technology. This moment is historic. Humanity has never photographed an interstellar object from the viewpoint of another planet. Every image of Oumuamua, 2I/Borisov, and now 3I Atlas has been taken from Earth or from satellites orbiting Earth. A Martian vantage point could reveal structural details and behavior we simply cannot see from here due to distance, Earth's atmosphere, and our limited viewing angles. Other spacecraft around the solar system may also contribute data, making this an unprecedented worldwide scientific effort. Time, however, is running out, because 3I Atlas is a true interstellar traveler, not bound to the sun. It will eventually leave our solar system and never come back. Unlike local comets that return again and again over centuries, interstellar objects give humanity one single opportunity to study them before they vanish into deep space forever. The data captured during this flyby could be world-changing. It might reveal the first solid evidence of technology built by another civilization, or it might expose natural processes that completely upend our current understanding of physics and chemistry. Either way, what happens on October 3rd, 2025 could reshape science as we know it. Thanks for watching another episode. Before you go, click the video on your screen for more fascinating content.